guys, welcome back to Damian Acts. How's it going? Well, today is Sunday, so happy Sunday. Sorry if I'm all over the place. I'm back with a suggestion today as it is Sunday. The Fascinating Geography of the Niagara Escarpment by Urban Atlas. This was a suggestion. Someone commented, Damian, I have a different video suggestion. Consider watching this video by Urban Atlas. He posts Canadian geography content, and since you live in Canada, thought you might enjoy it, or thought you might like it. So, I know literally nothing about geography. I know literally nothing. When I was in geography class in grade 9 or 10, I had like a 30%, like I was feeling bad. Like I don't know anything about geography, history, I know literally bupkis. Nothing. So this one ought to be interesting. So the Fascinating Geography of the Niagara Escarpment. So I was there a few weeks ago, as you guys saw my video. If you guys saw my video, but you guys would have seen that I came up. I was in Niagara Falls. I'm probably going to go again in August at some point on my vacation because I don't do anything else. Starting. So here basically it talks about the basics, the history, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know anything about anything. So this ought to be interesting. The wildlife, the indigenous connection, industrialization, challenges to the escarpment ecosystem, jump scare. What? Okay, well, yeah, it's pretty short, 10 minutes and 20 seconds, so I'm kind of interested to see how this video goes, you know what I mean? Over 100,000 views, so decent amount of views. I'm kind of curious if I'll understand anything that they're saying, because again, I may not, because I literally know nothing about anything. Like, I'm not even exaggerating, I really don't know anything. That's why I have to watch these videos to, like, educate myself. So, again, this ought to be interesting if I don't say much, because I don't know what to say, because I don't know what's going on. Anyways, let's watch.
I'm currently standing here in Hamilton, Ontario, on what locals call the mountain. And behind me, you can see Hamilton downtown, or what locals call down the mountain. But despite being called a mountain, it's not really a mountain at all. You see, it's actually an escarpment, known as the Niagara Escarpment. And this unique geologic feature is a lot more interesting than you'd think.
So it's because I'm from Hamilton, so seeing that, I was like, I'm over there somewhere. So, okay.
So welcome to the story of the Niagara Escarpment. It is a geological giant that most people have heard of, but few truly understand. And today we're going to explore the geography of this massive limestone cliff, and how
Yeah, because people just say Hamilton Mountain, but I guess it's not the mountain.
it continues to shape the lives of millions of people today. And as always, this is Ellie, and welcome back to Urban Atlas.
Okay. Let's see if I understand anything. Let's go. I'm excited for
Okay,
this.
so let's just start with the basics. The Niagara Escarpment is a massive cliff face that curves like a giant horseshoe across eastern North America. Starting in New York State near Rochester, it sweeps northward through Ontario, and then curves west across southern Ontario.
So it's literally just like, oh, damn, I didn't know that. I thought it was just kind of like in Hamilton or something. I didn't know, literally, wow, okay.
Ontario, before heading northwest into the Bruce Peninsula, and continuing underwater to emerge in Wisconsin and Michigan. The total length is approximately 1,050 kilometers, or 650 miles, making it one of the most significant topographical features on the continent. But here's what makes it truly remarkable. It's not just any regular old cliff. You see, in most places, the escarpment rises between 60 to 250 meters above the surrounding landscape. That's roughly 200 to 820 feet of sheer limestone and dolostone cliff faces. I'm sure many of you have seen this, especially driving through southern Ontario and then suddenly encountering what looks like a natural wall stretching as far as the eye can see. That would be the Niagara Escarpment. A good place to see this is, of course, the city of Hamilton, where approximately half the city sits right below the escarpment and the other half sits right on the escarpment.
Yeah, so seeing this, that's actually a great view of, like, the city. So, yeah, it's like, this is the mountain, basically. Like, you know what I mean? That's like, I don't know if that's the, I forgot what it's called, apparently, the road. But, where's that, the road? It doesn't matter. But yeah, it's basically just like a mountain. Like, you look, like, up the mountain. Oh, yeah, it's the mountain. I guess it's not actually a mountain. Okay, that's interesting. But yeah, Hamilton's definitely a great spot for it, because you can literally see it, like, perfectly.
So, like I previously mentioned, the escarpment consists primarily of limestone and dolostone, which is ancient seafloor sediments that were laid down when this entire region was covered by a warm, shallow sea. The cliff face we see today represents the resistant cap rock that has withstood millions of years of erosion, while softer rocks below,
Yeah, because you look at that and it's like, bro, this looks like it's like broken. This deadass looks like it's about to collapse at any given moment.
have worn away. So to better understand the Niagara Escarpment, we need to travel back in time, way back, about 450 million years ago, during the time geologists call the Ordovician period. Most of what we see today across eastern North America was submerged under a warm tropical sea. And this wasn't like any ocean we know of today. It was full of bizarre creatures. Trilobites scuttling across the seafloor, massive squid-like creatures, and
Interesting.
countless corals. As these creatures lived and died here, their shells and skeletons accumulated on the seafloor in layers hundreds of meters thick. And then, across 400 million years, massive tectonic forces began to uplift and tilt these ancient seafloor rocks. The entire Great Lakes region was slowly pushed upwards and tilted slightly towards the southwest. The tilting here is crucial. It's why the escarpment faces generally in the northeast direction. But of course, the story doesn't end there. Fast forward
I'm trying to understand it, but even if I don't, that sounds cool. Like, it just... wow.
to about 2 million years ago, and massive ice sheets began advancing and retreating across North America. These glaciers, some over 1.5 kilometers thick, that's nearly a mile of ice, scraped and carved the landscape with unimaginable force. These ice sheets were like nature's bulldozers. They removed softer rock and soil from in front of the escarpment, while the harder limestone cap rock stood firm. When the last ice age ended about 12,000 years ago, it left behind a dramatic cliff face we see today, along with the Great Lakes themselves. Now, the most famous feature of the Niagara Escarpment is something you probably know about already. It's the Niagara Falls, and most people don't realize that without the Niagara Escarpment, these world famous waterfalls simply wouldn't exist. The story of these falls begins with the Niagara River, which carries
That was such a nice view of the Canadian Falls. It's just so beautiful, bro.
water from Lake Erie into Lake Ontario, which between those two lakes includes a vertical drop about 99 meters or 325 feet. But the key thing is that that drop isn't gradual. Most of it happens right at the escarpment. And at Niagara Falls, the river encounters the escarpment's resistance.
That looks sick, I'm not gonna lie. Like, that looks crazy. Like, that's so nice. Just watching it, like, so high up, even from over there. That's crazy. Like, you can... that's so cool.
Limestone cap rock. The water plunges over this cliff, creating the famous falls we know today. But here's where it gets really interesting. Below the hard limestone lies softer shale and sandstone. And as water crashes down, it erodes these softer rocks much faster than the limestone above. This process is called headward erosion, and has been carving the famous Niagara Gorge for the past 12,000 years. These falls have actually moved upstream about 11 kilometers, and that's nearly 7 miles, from the original position near present-day Lewiston and Queenston.
Wait, what? So the actual falls were over there, and it just moved over there. What the fuck? That's kind of cool, though.
The Niagara Gorge itself is a testament to its power. In some places, the gorge walls rise 60 meters or 200 feet straight up from the churning river below. Even today, the erosion continues, and some scientists believe that it will take 20,000 to 25,000 years for the falls to erode all the way back to Lake Erie, at which point the falls will cease to exist. The Niagara Escarpment isn't just
Damn.
a geological...
I can't imagine just like the falls just not being there anymore, just not existing.
Damn. You see, it's also one of the most biodiverse regions in eastern North America, because the escarpment creates a unique environment that supports an incredible variety of life. Ancient cedars cling to tiny cracks in these rocks, some over 700 years old. And these trees growing in these impossible conditions are among the oldest living things in eastern Canada.
It does look weird how it's just like growing in the rocks. Like, that's so weird.
The alkaline conditions created by the limestone support unique plant communities. You'll find rare orchids, wild columbine, and hart's tongue fern, species that exist nowhere else in this region. Some of these plants are remnants from the last ice age, surviving in the escarpment's protected microclimates. And on top of the escarpment, you'll encounter a completely different world. The escarpment supports everything from boreal forests in its upper reaches to rare Carolinian woodlands in its protected valleys. And the wildlife across this region is pretty impressive. Black bears roam the Bruce Peninsula area, while the southern reaches are home to species more typical of the American South, like the five-lined skink. which is Ontario's only native lizard.
Oh,
Over 370 bird species have also been recorded along the escarpment,
I didn't even know
making
that.
it one of North America's most important migration corridors. And for thousands of years, the Niagara Escarpment has been shaping human history. Long before European settlement, the indigenous people recognized the escarpment's significance. The Haudenosaunee, Ojibwe, and other nations used the escarpment as a natural highway, following its base where springs provided reliable water and its slopes offered shelter. In fact, archaeological evidence shows continuous human occupation along the escarpment for well over 10,000 years. The Crawford Lake region has yielded some of the most significant archaeological discoveries in Ontario, including perfectly preserved Iroquois village sites that show how Indigenous people managed the landscape sustainably for centuries. As the 19th century rolled around, it brought intensive industrial exploitation. The escarpment's limestone was perfect for construction, and massive quarries opened across southern Ontario. Much of Toronto and Hamilton was literally built from escarpment stone. And the 20th century brought new pressures, as southern Ontario's population.
So again, obviously I don't really understand anything he's saying here, but just like hearing the history is honestly pretty cool. And just kind of like seeing how, I guess it was in a sense, or hearing about how it was, even though it's hard to understand everything and put it all together, it's cool.
Exploded, development pushed right up against the escarpment edge. The natural corridor that existed for millennia was threatened by urban.
Like, you guys have to admit, that is pretty cool how it's just like there's ground and then it just goes up. The ground just goes up. Like, it just makes no sense.
Sprawl, agriculture, and infrastructure development. And thus, recognizing that threat, conservationists began fighting for escarpment protection in the 1960s. Their efforts culminated in 1973 with the creation of the Niagara Escarpment Plan, one of Canada's first comprehensive landscape protection strategies. Today, one of the best ways to experience the escarpment is along the Bruce Trail, one of Canada's oldest and longest marked trails. Stretching approximately 900 kilometers or 550 miles from Niagara all the way to Tobermory, the Bruce Trail follows the escarpment
Tobermory? Damn.
for its entire length through Ontario. And the escarpment's vertical cliffs have also made it a destination for rock climbing. Routes range from beginner-friendly climbs to challenging multi-pitch ascents. And in the winter, the escarpment transforms into a completely different landscape.
That's so cool.
The Blue Mountain region has become Ontario's premier skiing destination, while frozen waterfalls create spectacular ice formations throughout the winter months. But despite protection efforts, the Niagara Escarpment faces unprecedented challenges in the 21st century. Urban growth continues to pressure the escarpment, particularly the densely populated regions of the GTA and Hamilton. Every year, hundreds of acres of escarpment-adjacent land are converted to suburban development. Invasive species pose another threat. Plants like the dog-strangling vine and European buckthorn are choking out native vegetation, and while invasive insects threaten the escarpment's ancient cedar forests, the emerald ash borer has already killed millions of ash trees along the escarpment region. The good news, however, is that conservation efforts are evolving to meet these challenges. New scientific tools, including satellite monitoring and genetic analysis, are helping conservationists understand and protect escarpment ecosystems better than ever before. And thus, from the thundering waters of Niagara Falls to the pristine wilderness of Flower Pot Island, and from ancient fossil beds to cutting-edge conservation.
Yeah, this is so cool. Like, trees are literally growing in the rocks.
In research, the escarpment continues to inspire, challenge, and reward those who take the time to explore its secrets. And as always, thank you so much for joining me on this journey along the Niagara Escarpment. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. And remember, the best way to experience and appreciate the Niagara Escarpment is to experience it yourself. So get out there and explore. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
There is basically, like, I guess I basically have kind of like explored it, because I don't know if I went on the Bruce Trail, but I went on a trail, and it basically goes up the escarpment. So, and I've done that biking, and I did that, I remember back in 2019 when the Raptors won the whole thing, I remember doing it, and it was so scary because there was no lights there. It's just, you know what I mean? It's just black. Black. It's basically the woods, 9-10 p.m., it's summer, but obviously it's dark now, and it's just like, bro, it's just like black. It is literally so creepy, but it's nice. I really appreciate you showing your face and giving this channel a name. Love watching your videos. Keep it up, brother. Forgot how amazing is right in your backyard. Awesome vid. yeah, like again, even just like hearing about everything, even if you don't comprehend everything, I feel like it is kind of cool just to know the history behind it. I've lived in southwestern Ontario my entire life. Studied geological engineering in Kingston and work in the environmental industry. Hiked and enjoyed the Escarpment for years, and somehow it wasn't until a few months ago that I learned just how long it was. I didn't know it was that long either. That's fucking crazy. I literally thought that it was just like Hamilton or something. That's insane. Jeez. Northern Ontario, upstate New York, Wisconsin, southwestern Ontario, Northern Ontario. The up I knew, but man, it's massive compared to what most people familiarize with it realize. Exactly. I moved to the Niagara Peninsula from Germany as a 10-year-old boy in 1969. Wow. So you're what, like 60 now? Damn. I've watched the changes over those years, but even though I had numerous opportunities to move to other amazing places in North America for work, I always chose to stay here. Even now, as I look to downsize, as I move into retirement, I'll be staying the peninsula, probably near the peninsula. That's actually really cool. Hamiltonian here, me too. Love that you appreciate the mountains / escarpment. It's so nice to have a beautiful natural area cutting right through my city. Perfect for afternoon hikes. Yeah, honestly, it is really nice. Like, there's something called the Wentworth Stairs. It's basically on Wentworth Street. You basically just go upstairs. It's kind of cool. I've done those stairs before. That was fun. I live minutes from the Niagara starting point of the Bruce Trail. I've walked it from end to end 3 times. On that route, you can see over 490 waterfalls and countless other natural beauty. Thank you for making this video. Jesus, that's fucking crazy, bro. I used to live in Buffalo, New York, which I'm sure you know is not far from Niagara Falls. Yeah, that's pretty close. I never knew that about the falls. Very cool video about what some might consider some rocks. That's what I do. Yeah, that's what I considered it. So thank you for the suggestion of this video. Again, even though I didn't understand all the facts about it, it was cool to learn about, you know what I mean? Especially because I'm literally from this area. So it's pretty cool knowing about it and learning about it. So yeah, thank you for this suggestion. If you guys want me to watch any more Urban Atlas videos, please suggest them and let me know. This is obviously a fully different video. I don't think I've reacted to Urban Atlas ever before, so this is a new channel that I've reacted to, so please let me, like, I'll see the view count, see how it is, if you guys want to see more videos like this or not. So let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces. Peace.